original story of Giselle is very simple, really. It's a story of love, betrayal, revenge and forgiveness. All of those absolutely classic elements of story structure. So in a way that makes it very good material to envisage with a new lens, and the lens for us necessarily had to be our contemporary society, and in this case in particular, I think the focus was from the beginning on economics and on power relationships, because that really seemed, in the original, that seemed to be the thing that spoke most strongly. It was this sense which is partly unspoken and unexplored in the traditional telling of the story, this sense that there are people of great power and privilege in relation to people whose experiences of poverty and powerlessness. But in the original Giselle, that's romanticised because it's a romantic tale. We wanted to ask what's left if you remove the romance and if you're left with those power structures. And we really quickly found that actually you're left with a story of today. When you start to look at a story that is about injustice and separation, and you realise that that is the story of our times, there was a sense of urgency around telling this story in a way that is not didactic. We don't want to sit back, this is not a work of journalism, but emotive and affective in the sense that it reminds us that everything that we do at the moment is connected with these stories of inequality. It's the great prevailing problem in our lives, and it leads to everything, to our environmental problems, climate change issues. Akram is Bangladeshi, and he knows and comes from a culture that intimately knows the horrors as well of the garment factories in Dhaka, which have been connected through the garment industry to the garment and textile factories in Manchester. During the Industrial Revolution, there's just been this strong exchange across the globe around people who work for incredibly low wages in incredibly demanding jobs, often very dangerous jobs. And we know that in the last few years there have been a series of absolutely terrible accidents in Bangladesh, not just in Bangladesh. You don't need a graveyard. The graveyards are the graveyards of industry now, and that is also a really, I think, a powerful place to set the second act. If you subtract the romance and try to find out what's actually happening between people, then you find that the Willies, the women who have died in Act 2, haven't so much been betrayed in love as betrayed by industry and by the industrialists who have put them in these terrible, devastatingly dangerous environments and then let them die there. So, which seems like a pretty good reason to seek revenge, which is what they do in the second act.